forgot I'd kind of ordered them. And then 2 weeks later I got the book mail and I was like, oh yeah, this is, and it came at such a good time because I was having a mare of a week. Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten, and as you can see by the piles around us, we have quite a bit of a book haul to do. There are, I think it's 36 books here to talk about, and we have Hermione in the background. She was taking my filming chair, so we're sitting in front of the chair and we can be judged by my cat. So that's great. Well, I hope you're all doing really well, and let's get into this book haul. I have actually organised it. So we have gifts, we have publisher mail, pre-orders, things that I've got from BooksPlease, and then some thrifted books and like just books I paid full price for and stuff. So it's a bit of a hodgepodge. There is also a mixture of different genres and things going on. Some of these I've already read, some I haven't. So we're just gonna get straight into it, and let me know, what is the last book you got yourself? Whether it's from the library or something you've purchased, let me know. But okay, let's get straight into this. I think I'm gonna start off with all the gifts and then go from there. So first of all, we have a gift from my partner. I should probably say that this has been since I last did a book haul, which was around middle of May, start of May to August. Some of these are birthday gifts and me using up coupons and vouchers and stuff, and then other bits. But yeah, okay. So first of all, we have a gift from my partner, and that is Mislaid in Parts Half Known by Shauna Maguire. This is the latest release in the Wayward Children series, something that I have been very excited about reading, which I still haven't read, which is only short, so I definitely should have by now, but I'm really looking forward to reading this one. For those that don't know, the Wayward Children series is a series of novellas that are portal fantasies, and the way it works is odd numbers continue the story, and then even numbers tend to be a prequel around that character or a group of characters that we have met in the odd numbered book. I really like it. I really enjoy this series. There's just something about it that just really works. I definitely want to do a reread of this series soon, and I think this is book 9 or 8. 1, 2, 3. Book 9 in the series, so clearly I like it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where this one continues on with. I can't really go too much into details because it is book 9 of a series, but I would recommend giving these ones a try. I do like them. Then we have a gift from Uniquely DJ. We're going to be seeing that come up a lot because Uniquely DJ has definitely spoiled me across the last couple months, and they got me The Way of Kings Part 1. This is the Stormlight Archive book 1, but only the first half of it. I like these split paperback editions. This edition is actually replacing a fire damaged edition that I had. Just smelled of this house fire that I was in years and years and years ago, but I never got around to replacing it, and I had this one on my wish list as a reminder to myself to actually replace it, and I'm so grateful that it has actually been replaced. And I love this series so much. It is such a great epic fantasy series. We do have the newest book coming out in December, and I would love to reread this book. I mean, I did reread this book last year, but I would like to do a proper reread of the whole series before I read that last one, but we'll see when that happens. I am in a slight fantasy slump, although I am starting to come out of it because I've had such a long break. I just think I need to make sure I don't read too many in one go. But this is a great epic fantasy series. I'm sure you've heard lots about it because lots of people are doing their rereads around this series because of the latest book that's coming out at the end of the year. But this is basically a massive war that's going on. There's so much more to this. It's so much more complex, but the bare bones of it is we're following many different characters, but the main character you follow in here is Kaladin, and he is a slave that's part of this war that's going on between the Alethi and the Parshendi, and it's been going on for years without any improvement on either side. And you're seeing through the different characters the different levels within that war. So you see one person that is a prince, their side of the war, you see Kaladin and how it is for the slaves, and you see other people and how this war does affect other countries. It's good. It's so grand. It's definitely something that you can't just summarize in a short little bit. I love it. If you haven't tried Brandon Sanderson, I would definitely give him a try. So many good books, and not just the epic fantasy, but so many other books that are just so well done. Also from Uniquely DJ, we have Killers of a Certain Age by Denna Rayborn. This is a book I read recently for Summerween, and I had so much fun with it. It is so entertaining and ridiculous. It is hilarious. So Denna Rayborn is the author of the Veronica Speedwell series, and I do prefer the Veronica Speedwell series to this book. I think the characters, the plot lines and everything are just a little bit more thought out. However, this was entertaining nonetheless. We have 4 women that are retiring from being assassins, and we follow the perspective of one of these women. So they're off on this cruise that's being hosted by their company as a, yeah, you're retiring. Instead, they find out that actually the company they're working for or used to work for is actually out to kill them. And so now they are going to show them exactly what age can do. And it was so hilarious, so ridiculous, so unbelievable, but I really enjoyed it. It is definitely one of those ones that if you just want something that you can just laugh along to and you're not going to take too seriously, you're going to have a fun, entertaining time. My partner also picked me up a box set of the Folk of the Air trilogy, which I'm so happy with. This is a series that I binged last year. I absolutely loved it. I've not even taken it out of the box. Look how... Okay, we're going to leave those in there. But yeah, I'm very excited to have this trilogy. I enjoyed this so much. I read it on my Kindle and ended up falling in love with this. I didn't think I was going to like it the amount that I did, but I think Holly Black just has that nostalgia for me because I used to read Holly Black's work, not the Folk of the Air trilogy, but some of her other stuff that she's done, which I just loved growing up. And so reading this, it just gave me all that nostalgia again. So we have The Cruel Prince, The Wicked King, and The Queen of Nothing, and I really enjoyed this trilogy. I just thought it was so good. It is enemies to lovers, but it's so slow burn, it's unreal. The first book's actually more about political maneuvering, and it's so good. So very thankful to my partner for getting me that. Then we have a gift from Naomi. Again, Naomi's someone that's been supporting my channel for years, like since the beginning, and they spoil me to an extraordinary amount. So thank you so much, Naomi. This one I think was for my birthday. Yes, it was for my birthday. And that is A Spear That Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez, and I can't wait to read this. This is a fantasy book I really want to get my hands on, which I have it. This is a fantasy book that I really want to read soon. I'm really intrigued by this. This is one that came on my radar because of Reagan over at Peruse Project. I'll have a channel linked below, and she loved this book so much, and the way she describes it as a story within a story within a story. So we have our main character that's being told this story by, I think it's a grandmother, that's also been enacted on a theatre show. The way it's woven in is meant to be amazing, but the base story, I do believe, is about, yes, this goddess that was contained underneath this palace by this really awful emperor and his monstrous sons, and this god is trying to get out and escape, and it's that story. And I think this is going to be a fantastic book. I really want to get to this soon, maybe even in September. We'll see if we can get it on the September TBR, but definitely before the end of the year I want to be reading this one. This is a sort of fantasy I'm in the mood for, so I would like to read this one very soon. That's high priority for me. We also have another one from Naomi, again for my birthday. Like I said, they spoil me so much, so thank you so much, Naomi. And this one is Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey, and again, this is another book that's been on my radar because of Reagan. She's been reading this Expanse series and she's loved it so much, and I have recently delved into sci-fi properly this year. I got into cozy sci-fi because of one of the people on Discord, Morgan. She gave me loads of cozy sci-fi recommendations. I read 3 of them and absolutely adored them, and so I've been getting more and more into sci-fi. I've also been enjoying the Locked Tomb series with Gideon the Ninth and Harrow the Ninth. I'm hoping to read Nona the Ninth soon. Once I finish reading Nona the Ninth, then I think I want to start this, because then we'll be waiting on the 4th Locked Tomb book, and I think while we're waiting on that I could get started on a new sci-fi series. That's my plan for this. Again, this is going to happen before the end of the year because I'm really hoping to read Nona the Ninth soon. So yeah, this is definitely one I would like to start towards the end of the year. Should I be starting another series considering how many I'm in the middle of? Probably not, but I'm really looking forward to starting this one and seeing how I get into it. I have been told that it does get better as the books goes on. It's still a good first book, but definitely to stick with it if I'm not sure. I think it's going to be fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to getting into a like more epic sci-fi series to sink my teeth into, because I'm really liking sci-fi. If you have any other cozy sci-fi recommendations or just sci-fi recommendations in general, please put them below. Another book I've read that is a gift from Uniquely DJ is Chlorine by Jade Song, and I loved this book. I read this one in July and annotated it, loved it. This is more of a horror book. It is so interesting. We're following a swimmer and we see her life from when she first discovers the swimming pool and falls in love with it to puberty, her fascination around mermaids, and you get different mermaid folklore in here. The kind of obsession that it leads to towards the end of the book, and it's great. I really liked this. We need more mermaid horror books. I just think it was so well done, and it really looks at puberty and what it's like to go through that stage, how messy it is, but it doesn't hold back. It is quite graphic in places, so do bear that in mind. And you also see the difficulties it is trying to become an athlete and the twisted relationship she has with her coach and how it crosses a few too many boundaries. I really like this one. It is very good, but do check your trigger warnings. But I very much enjoyed this. It is something that I think about just because of one particular scene that I was just like, oh, ugh. It was visceral, but it also has stayed with me because of that. I also think if you like Juliet Armfield, you'll probably like this book as well. Okay, so those are all the gifts. So thank you again to Naomi, Uniquely DJ, and my partner for these. I really appreciate it. Now we have some publisher mail. I have Tom Mead, Cabaret Macabre is a cozy locked room murder mystery. Tom Mead reached out to me and asked me if I'd be interested and sent me a copy of his book. I am very excited for this one. I do believe this one comes out very soon. I was meant to check that before I did this. I will find out for you whether it's already out or if it's coming out very soon. But this is a cozy locked room murder mystery that I'm very excited about because of course I love a cozy murder mystery. If you know this channel, you'd know I love my cozy murder mysteries, and actually I just love cozy books. Any cozy books, give me all the cozy books. That is what I want. This one sounds really good. It's set in Hampshire 1938, and we have Victor, who is confined to a private sanatorium after attacking a prominent judge, Sir Giles Drury. And when Sir Giles starts receiving threatening letters, his wife suspects Victor. Meanwhile, Victor's sister Caroline is convinced her brother is about to be murdered by none other than his old nemesis Sir Giles, and she seeks the advice of Scotland Yard's Inspector Flint, while the jury is eager to avoid a scandal turn to Joseph Spector, a renowned magician turned sleuth. And there's lots of like complicated stuff that's going on, but it ends with, at a snowbound English country house, a body is found in impossible circumstances and a killer's bullet is fired through a locked window without breaking the glass. And then they've got to try and sort it all out. That sounds really good. I'm really looking forward to that. I realised I never actually said what Leviathan Wakes is about, and I don't actually know, to be fair. Shall we read the back together? Humanity has colonised the solar system, Mars, the moon, and the asteroid belt and beyond, but the stars are still out of their reach. Tried reading this a couple times and I stumbled over so many words, but basically it seems like we're following two people. One person comes across this decrepit ship in the middle of space while they're on like their usual mining run, and then we also have a detective who is looking for a girl, one girl in the system of billions. They end up getting thrown together where there seems to be a problem with revolutions and secretive corporations, and somehow that all ties in together. Sounds really good. But yeah, sorry, didn't talk about that one at all. I also got sent Then Things That Went Dark by B. Fitzgerald. This one I'm very intrigued by. It's another murder mystery, not cozy. This one is to do with a reality TV show that's on a desert island. One of the contestants ends up dying while live on TV. So it's definitely not a cozy one, but there is going to be a bit of intrigue around it to see what's actually happened. This is the same author that did Girl, Goddess, Queen, which was a Greek mythology inspired book. It'll be very interesting to see how this one goes, and this book comes out on the 5th of September. I then had a video that I did for Your Paper Quest where I received 2 books. So Your Paper Quest is a monthly subscription that's all about supporting indie authors. The 2 books I received are California Hustle by Jeffrey Massino and The Teddy and Bara Show by Will Tinkham. This one, unfortunately, the Teddy and Bara Show, I didn't actually finish. I ended up DNFing that book. It was okay, just the writing style for me I couldn't quite get on with. California Hustle was a surprisingly fun, entertaining time. Again, if you're looking for something that is slightly ridiculous but is just a fun time, a light read, I would recommend. This one is about a con artist who's kind of lost the touch but ends up getting caught up in this big con, and he's really fumbling his way through it, and it's kind of funny, kind of ridiculous, but it was okay, you know, it was a good time. And then the last 2 books I got because I went to a Canongate influencer event, Molly Atkins' Bright Eye Burn. This one I was really intrigued by because the back of it sounds amazing. It says she is imprisoned in the dark without human touch because she, in her hard metal self, is seen as far too potent to be let out in the world. She turns men mad, she turns children into murderers murderers, she tears families apart. Still, she waits for her day of release because she outlives the fleshy creatures that made her. She is patient, and she is full of rage now. And one day she will wreak her fury on the world and destroy her fragile makers. I'm sorry, but that sounds amazing. Do I actually know what this one is about? No, but that sounds so good that I don't care. I want to read it. This one is already out. This one was actually published in June, but I'm really intrigued by that. I just thought that sounded amazing. And then I also picked up This Is How You Remember It by Catherine Parasifka. And this one is a contemporary that was published in May by the same author of None of This Is Serious, which I haven't read, but is meant to be quite good. And this one's all about online presence and how things are really quite dangerous in a way, and it talks about sexuality, and I'm really intrigued by it. I don't know, there's just something about it that's just captured my attention. I loved this cover. The synopsis sounded interesting. I think this is one that I will get to eventually at some point. You'll have to let me know if you've read it and what you thought of it. But those are all the publisher mails, so the rest of it is all books that I've got myself. I have a stack of pre-orders that I think we're going to go through next. At the start of this year, and end of last year, I ended up pre-ordering quite a few books, and it's been really nice doing that. I've enjoyed that, especially because it's like a little treat in the mail to you every so often. So the first pre-order to talk about, I've got A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. This one is inspired by a Grimm's fairy tale. I need to find out the exact one so that I can read that before going into this. I love doing that. But this one, we are following Cordelia. Cordelia knows her mother is unusual. Their house doesn't have any doors between rooms. There's no secrets in this house. However, Cordelia loves to escape on her mum's horse. It's the only time that she feels free. However, there is a murder that happens and it spooks her mum, and so they have to run away to something else. And we follow Hester, who then sees the way Cordelia interacts with her mother, how things do not seem to add up, how unusual this relationship is. I'm really intrigued by this. Like, T. Kingfisher for me is just an author by author. I don't need to know much going into their books. I actually don't like to read the full synopsis going into their books because they tend to be on the shorter side, and I just know that I love their writing style. Like, I have read so many of their books and I love them. Like, I really do. So I'm very excited about this one, and I like this edition because look at that gorgeousness. Isn't that stunning? I just like a T. Kingfisher book. Like, they're just fun, entertaining, got a really good humorous writing style that's there, but also manages to incorporate some like slightly horror leaning elements, and yet it all kind of balances out. It just works perfectly. I really like T. Kingfisher. Does their book end up being all-time new favourites? No, but they are a consistent author of something I always enjoy, which I just think is really rare. Then we have Katie Lonsden's newest book, The Trouble with Mrs Montgomery Hearst. Katie is also a booktuber. I will have her channel linked below. She is absolutely lovely, and I was lucky enough to go to the book launch for this. She signed it for me as well, which I'm so happy with. I really am looking forward to reading this one. I've already read the first chapter, and this is a historical fiction book that is a lot more light-hearted and fun. The first book that she did was more of a gothic haunted house leaning historical fiction story. It was an homage to classics such as Jane Eyre, Rebecca, things like that. This time, this book is more of a celebration of authors like Jane Austen, Elizabeth Gaskell, and also, oh, there was somebody else that I've forgotten the name of. It was a gentleman. But I'm really intrigued by this. Like, I love a Jane Austen book. I've been wanting to read some Elizabeth Gaskell. So I think this is going to be absolutely delightful. From that first chapter, I got such a different feel from the book compared to The Secrets of Heartwood Hall. The writing tone is so much lighter, more fun, more gossipy, and it just sounds really good. So in this one, we're seeing all these different characters react to the news that Mr Montgomery Hearst, the most eligible bachelor in this little town, is to be engaged. And they're like, but the problem is she's widowed. She's got kids. Why would the most eligible bachelor do that. And so you're seeing all of their reactions, all of the gossiping that comes around. I think is going to be so much fun to read. I would actually like to read it before we get into autumn. I say that in August. Okay, that's not going to happen. Maybe at the start of autumn. Maybe in September, because I just feel like it's a proper like good book for like summery vibes. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to reading that one soon. We then have The Darkness Within Us by Trisha Levenseller. I've already read this one. I read this one at the start of the month of August and I did like it. This is the kind of companion follow-up to The Shadows Between Us, but instead of following Alessandra, we are following her sister Chrysanthemum. And Chrysanthemum is someone that has always pretended to be this airheaded girl that knows nothing, so that she can get this duke to marry her, so that when he dies, she gets to become the Duchess, like she gets all of the lands and everything. And she's chosen this particular duke for the fact that he had no relations, that he was old and dying anyway. So she's like, yes, finally I can have everything that I've wanted. I can have the power to be free, because in this world women are very constrained. It's almost like taking hints from things like the Victorian era, where women were only allowed something if they were married, and they were very like confined with what they were able to do. Unfortunately, we now have an estranged grandson coming onto the scene, and now she's like, well, you're going to have to go. I'm gonna have to kill you, because there is no way that I am sharing or you're taking what is mine. It's a fun time. Is it the best book ever? No, but it was very entertaining to read nonetheless. We also have another book I've already read, and that's Evocation by S.T. Gibson. I really enjoyed this one. I ended up reading it within 24 hours. I had a lot of fun with this. This was for one of the Relax and Readathon 24-hour readathons that I've done. And it was so good, so entertaining. Like, I had so much fun with this. So I have read S.T. Gibson's A Dowry of Blood. And I do think out of the two, A Dowry of Blood is the more beautifully written book. This book, however, is the more fun fantasy romance leaning book. And it was a very fun, entertaining time. So we are following 3 characters, and one of them, David, is being kind of hounded by this malevolent spirit, because they're all 3 of them are caught up within the occult with different things. We have David's ex, part of the same society that David is a part of. His ex-boyfriend's wife is a witch, and I loved seeing her, how she uses tarot, astronomy and astrology, and how it all weaves together for different things. I thought that was absolutely fascinating. I loved that. And we're seeing how David has nobody that he can trust apart from his ex-boyfriend, and he's like, I need your help. But obviously the only way he can get through to them is through his ex-boyfriend's wife, and it's this kind of like messy love triangle situation that's going on, and I really liked it. I thought it was very fun, light-hearted, entertaining time, perfect for something that you just want to sit down and binge read. And then the final pre-order that I've had so far is Hera by Jennifer Saint, and this is a Greek mythology retelling all about Hera, the wife and sister of Zeus. I'm really excited to give this one a try. This is actually being voted upon, so I might end up reading it in this month. Every TBR I have 2 options for you to vote between, and this one seems to be winning by about 3 votes so far, so if that stays, then this will be the one that I'm reading for the month towards the end of August. I'm looking forward to this one. Even if it doesn't get picked for this, it's definitely something I would like to read soon. I'm just so intrigued to see what we do with this goddess, because she has always been portrayed as this very selfish, jealous, spiteful woman, where there must be so much that's actually gone on with her, because, you know, she's stuck being married to her brother. Like, she didn't have a choice. So there's a lot going on with that, and I just feel like she's going to be such an interesting character to follow. And this is a gorgeous edition, and I do like the purple. This is something I'm looking forward to reading. We'll see. It might be in August. It might not be. Depends what gets voted on. Okay, then we're going to move on to the BooksPlease books. So for those of you that don't know, I do have an affiliate links with BooksPlease. That's always in the description. It gets you 5% off your order, and I get a 5% commission off of that at no extra charge to you. And I have been utilizing that with some books, because BooksPlease is kind of like Book Depository, just with slower shipping, and the prices on their book most of the time are cheaper than Amazon. I really like them. I think it's great. Slower shipping time, but as long as you're not in a major rush for them, I don't think it's a problem. One of the books though that I've already read is Garden Spells by Sarah Addison Allen, and this is so good. I read this for my Cottagecore weekly reading vlog, and I loved this book so much. It has become a new favourite. It's just a slice of life book with a little touch of magic in it, and it is so lovely. We're following these two sisters, and actually you follow quite a few people within this little village, but the main characters are these two sisters, and they're estranged for various different reasons, but now they're having to come back together because one of them, Sydney, is running away from a very abusive partner, and so she comes to stay with her sister Claire. You see them kind of patching their relationship up with one another, you see new romantic love interests, and it's just such a beautiful book. Like, it was just so cozy and comforting, and I just adored it. So I want to get the rest of Sarah Addison Allen's works because I think they were gorgeous, and I love this one so much. I've been talking about it a lot, but I thought it was fantastic, and you're going to see me talking about this at the end of the year because it's definitely going to be on my top books of 2024 because I just thought it was absolutely wonderful. We then have a book that I'm going to be reading soon, and that is If Cats Disappeared from the World by Genkai Kwama. This one is translated from Japanese, and the translator is Eric Selland. This one we have a man that is dying, and it's what would happen if you can get 1 day extra, but you have to sacrifice something from the world. If that thing disappeared from the world, would you do it? And what happens if you do it? I think it's going to be a really interesting book and a really introspective look at life. But yeah, I think this is going to be fantastic. It is a book I've been meaning to read for a good couple of years now. I cannot wait to read this one. We have another translated book, and that is I Who Have Never Known Ben by Jacqueline Hartman. This one's translated by Ross Schwartz, and this is a book I've also read recently, and I really liked it. It is such an unusual book. It's like a dystopian sci-fi weird book all mixed in together. Fascinating, absolutely fascinating. We're following a character whose name we do not know. They are writing us this letter, and they're writing it with no hope of anyone ever actually seeing it, but just detailing their life. They have been kept in this bunker, this group of other women, and they were forced to stay there, forced to have no boundaries, forced to have no privacy. They could talk, but not to the extremes of emotion. They couldn't hug one another. They couldn't do anything. They were constantly guarded. And then something happens that enables them to escape. And then they go out into this world, and they're like, we don't even know if this world is home. We don't know why we've been kept here. We don't know anything. And this book be kind of annoying for some people because you don't get any answers, but I thought it was fascinating. I loved it. It just made me think, and I think this is definitely going to be a book that stays with me because of that. It's definitely one I want to reread and annotate. It was so interesting, and again, this is a book you've seen me talk about quite a bit because it's been in my wrap up, it's been in my weird book recommendations, and also the weekly reading vlog, so been in quite a few videos. But yeah, I loved this. This was so good. I then also picked up It Lasts Forever and Then It's Over by Anne D. Markin. This is a book that I picked up because of Leah. I will have her channel linked below. She is the person that I go to for like weird book recommendations, and she spoke about this one and said how it's basically a new favorite of hers. I'm really intrigued by this one. We're basically following almost like a zombie. It's somebody that's died and what happens after, but also she's not fully gone. It sounds really weird and unusual, and I really don't want to know too much because it is only a short little book, so I feel like I don't want to know anything about it. We also have Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. This is a book you're actually going to be seeing me talk about pretty soon because I'm going to be reading this in August, and this is for a summer thriller reading vlog that I'm doing that was voted on Discord. If you ever want to take part in Discord, it's linked below. You can always join in. It's where we have monthly book clubs, we get updates on different things that we're reading, you get to vote in different video ideas and all sorts of different things. It is free, so just help yourself, no pressure. This one I've decided to read because, well, it's a thriller book. Again, you've seen this in a couple of videos. You've seen it in my August reset and my August TBR, but this one sounds pretty good. Riley Sager is one of those authors that is hit or miss for me. I've read 2 books by them, and this is the deciding book to see whether I'm going to pick up any more of their books going forward. This one we are following Ethan, who back in 1994 was 10 years old, and him and his best friend Billy were chilling out in going to sleep in a camp tent in his backyard. However, he woke up to a knife slash through the tent and his best friend Billy missing. Now Ethan's coming back 30 years later to his childhood home, and he just feels like things aren't finished and he needs to find out what's actually happened. I've been hearing really mixed things about this one. Olivia from Olivia Reads a Latte loves it. She is the person why I was interested in giving Riley Sager a third try, because she loves Riley Sager. But I was like, you know what, I love Olivia, so we're gonna give him another have a try, but I have heard a few other people having mixed reviews. There was also a recent live show talking about this that Gabby was a part of that I haven't watched yet until I've finished this book, and then I think I'm going to go and watch that live show because I'll be really intrigued to see what their thoughts are. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I don't normally tend to read thriller books unless they're like more cozy leaning or dark academia leaning or something. I think it will be good to try and just see, and maybe a thriller book is something I'll read every so often. And I don't know, I like the idea of summer thriller. I don't know why, but that works better to me than reading thrillers in winter, which I feel like maybe that's a weird opinion to have. You'll have to let me know. Do you prefer thrillers if you read thrillers in summer or winter? Let me know, because I'm feeling them more in summer. Okay, moving on. We still have a few more books from BooksPlease. Look, basically what happened is I ordered that first set I just spoke about, and then 2 weeks later it got delivered and I was like, oh yeah, this is great. And then a few days after that, I decided to order more books. Why? Because while I like buying books, it is what I like to have. I have a massive TBR, but I kind of treat my TBR like a library that I can then just browse and pick out what I'm in the mood for. Some of my books have been sitting on my TBR for like 3 years. It doesn't matter. I'm going to get to them eventually. And if I do change my mind and I'm no longer in the mood for them, then they will get given out to family members or to charity shops or free little libraries and stuff. It doesn't bother me. Like, I just enjoy the process of book buying, having a large book collection and reading books. Like, it's my life, it's what I enjoy. So yeah, so I basically ordered them, and then I think it was, yeah, then I received them, and then it was like a week later that I then ordered more, and then forgot I'd kind of ordered them. And then 2 weeks later I got the book mail and I was like, oh yeah, this is right. And it came at such a good time because I was having a mare of a week. Anyway, the second BooksPlease order, I had Julia Armfield's Private Rights. This is Julia Armfield's newest release. As I mentioned earlier in this video, Julia Armfield is an author that I do like, more horror leaning, kind of inspired by people like H.P. Lovecraft. It is slightly weird and unusual. I don't know anything about this book. I haven't actually read the synopsis for this book. Okay, so we have got, it's been raining for a long time. For so long, the lands have reshaped themselves. Arcane rituals and religions have crept back into place. We are following sisters Isla, Irene and Agnes, who have not spoken in some time when their estranged father dies. A famous architect revered for making New World navigable, he had, oh, okay, right. Now I'm reading this properly. So their father was a famous architect who was revered for making the New World manageable, but he had long ago cut himself off from public life, and now they're not sure how to grieve. They're not sure what to do. And so you've got these sisters coming together. Something sinister is unfolding, something related to their mother's long ago disappearance and the strangers who have always been unusually interested in their lives. It sounds really good. I think it's going to be exploring grief alongside the weird, unusual, slightly cosmic horror leaning that I expect from Julia Armfield's work. We then have another weird horror leaning book, which is Lost in the Garden by Adam S. Leslie. Now, originally I got this book to take on holiday because I'm going on holiday in September, and I want just one physical book to bring with me, and then I'm also going to be bringing my Kindle. And I did originally buy this book for then. However, I don't know. I think what I'm going to do is film my September TBR, decide out of that TBR what ones are going to come on holiday. Maybe we'll bring 2 physical books, but I honestly don't think I'm going to be reading 2. I think it will be 1 and then maybe a Kindle book. I always think I'm going to read more on holiday than what I actually do. That's a tangent, but the point was I originally got this one to read on holiday, but also because of a review from Willow, which sounded absolutely amazing. In this one, we're following 3 friends. One of them is in love with one of the others that doesn't know about it. All 3 of them are going to Allenby. They've been brought up their whole lives being told, do not go to this place. It's kind of like an old wives' tale of, you know, do this and you go to Allenby and the monsters are going to get you. But they're going to go. So we have the 3 characters, Heather, who needs to find her boyfriend, who went to Allenby and never came back. Rachel, who has a mysterious package to deliver and her life depends on it. And Antonia, who is in love with Heather and just wants the chance to spend a day with her. And so they set off through the idyllic yet perilous English countryside in which nature thrives in abundance and summer lasts forever. Meant to be creepy, dreamlike, unsettling and unforgettable. It sounds really good. It sounds like it's going to be a really fun time, and I think this would be perfect to read in summer, hence why I wanted to take it on holiday with me. But yeah, so I might still do that, to be fair, because it does sound good. I think we're just going to see what the September TBR is going to be like. Then we have 2 manga that I got, which I'm very pleased that I picked up from them because these are two manga that I have been wanting to get hold of for a while, and that is Promised Neverland Volume 5 and 6. I love The Promised Neverland. It's actually probably my favourite manga series. Love it so much, really want to continue on with it. I've read the first 4 volumes, absolutely adore it. In this, we're following a group of children that are at this orphanage, which seems absolutely amazing until they discover the really dark, horrible truth behind this orphanage. And I can't wait to continue on. The 4th one, oh my god, it got me in the feels. It was so good. It was so well done, and it instantly got me hooked back on this series, so very excited to continue on with it. And then the last book I got from BooksPlease is a little poetry collection that's Goblin Market by Christina Rossetti, and I'm very intrigued by this one. I've just been intrigued by the poem Goblin Market. I'm not normally a poetry person, but I'm hoping actually that I would have read this one very soon after this video comes out, because I'm going to be reading it in part of the Relax and Readathon that is happening on the 10th of August, which by the time this video comes out, it should be coming out on the 11th. So the video for that readathon should be coming out on the following Wednesday after this video. So you should be seeing my thoughts on this very, very soon, because it is definitely a book I want to get read. As much as I've been terrible at sticking to my readathon TBRs, this is one I really want to get read soon, obviously because I'm going to be reading in the readathon. It's one I'm definitely reading. I think it was like 19 pages? Oh no, it's not even 19, it's less than 19. It was 16 pages long. If I can't read 16 pages in a readathon, what is wrong with me? Okay, then the final set of books, I think are all thrifted. Oh no, we've got a couple that are points and stuff, but a few first that are thrifted. The Marlo Murder Club by Robert Thorogood. I read this earlier in this year and absolutely loved it, and I got it for £1. I'm so pleased. I originally read this one on my Kindle because I wasn't sure if I was going to love it, and then Kindle had a deal on, so I got it pretty cheap, and then I ended up falling in love with it. So of course, when I saw it in a charity shop for £1, I was like, I need to have you. And it's in really good condition. There are a couple of loose pages I've realised as I've been flicking through this book since then, but I can deal with that. For £1, I am not complaining. I'm just really happy to have it in my collection. This is a cozy murder mystery, and we're following our main character Judith, who is 77 years old and loves to swim nude in the Thames. And while she is swimming nude in the Thames one evening, she hears her neighbour arguing with somebody and then a gunshot. The police don't believe her, so she's like, right, fine, I'm gonna go find him for myself, finds his body, and then is like, right, now do you believe me? And they still don't fully, so she decides to take it into her own hands, drags a couple of people in. It's kind of like a found family thing that's going on there, and they go off and solve this murder. It's really fun. Definitely pick it up if you like things like Richard Osman, different authors like that. It's just so good. Cozy murder mystery, you've got to read it. Like, I love a cozy murder mystery. Speaking of cozy murder mystery, I picked this up at a free library, and that is The Death of Mr Dudley by John Ferguson. This is a London biblio mystery. The reason why I picked it up is because I've been intrigued in collecting these books. When you go into Waterstones actually, they have a massive mystery section now. It's become massive. In each Waterstones you go to, or at least the ones in London, really expanded their cozy murder mystery selection. These London biblio mysteries are everywhere. Like, there's so many of them, and I've not read any of them. I don't actually know what they're about. I've got a hair in my eye. Okay, it's gone. But these are all published by the British Library, and they're all cozy murder mysteries. So yeah, I just wanted to give them a try, and as this one was sitting in a free library, it's the reason why I picked it up. I don't know if this is a good place to start. I don't know anything. You'll have to let me know if you've read any of these books, where you think is a good place to start or not. But this one, Mr Richard Dudley is the owner of a fine second-hand bookshop on Charing Cross Road, and has been found murdered in the cold hours of the morning, shot in his own office. Few clues remain besides 3 cigarette ends, 2 spent matches, and a few books on the shelves which have been rearranged. That sounds really good. Looking forward to reading that. I just love a cozy murder mystery. Okay, then we also have A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch by Sarah Hawley. This is also a book from the free library, and this one is kind of more of a cute, cozy fantasy romance, which does sound absolutely hilarious. This one we're following Cordelia Cunnington. She's rough around the edges and her hot temper gets the best of her. But she stops a demon attack one night, and she's horrified to realise the man she has saved is none other than cold-hearted Astaroth. Astaroth is a legendary member of the Demon High Council, or at least he was. Suffering from amnesia after being stripped of his immortality and banished to the mortal plane, Astaroth doesn't know why a demon named Moloch is after him, nor why the angry, hot, in a terrifying way witch hates him so much. It sounds really fun. This was a book that I was actually contemplating reading on my August TBR, but I ended up choosing a different book and then hoped that another prompt would come up for it, and it hasn't. So it might be one that you end up seeing me read in September, because I read the first line of this and I loved it. It was so fun, entertaining, and I do really want to make sure I'm reading a consistent, my cat's scratching the wardrobe, consistent amount of cozy books mixed in with all the other reads that I have. And then the final book that I picked up thrifted is The Christmas Murder Game by Alexandra Benedict. This is a book I picked up because I want to read it in December. I don't know anything about it, I just know it's a murder mystery, and we have 12 clues, 12 keys, 12 days of Christmas, but who will survive until the 12th night? Sounds really good. I'm definitely wanting to read this one on the run up to Christmas, because last year I did a Christmas murder mystery thing and I loved it, so I'm definitely going to continue with my Christmas murder mystery reads. And then the last few that I have are ones that I ended up paying full price for. Well, sort of. This was on the buy one get one half price table at Waterstones. This is Death of a Bookseller by Alice Slater. This is one that I've been interested in because I like this cover. There's just something about this cover, the snail on top of books on top of a bloodstain, the pink with the neon green writing. I'm just intrigued. This one is more of a thriller book, and we're following Roach, who is a bookseller, loner, and true crime obsessive, but she's not interested in making friends. She has all the company she needs in her serial killer, books, murder podcast, and her pet snail Bleak. That is until Laura joins the bookshop smelling of roses, carrying a cute literary tote bag, and she is suddenly everyone's favourite bookseller. It turns into toxic obsession. I'm intrigued by it. I thought it would be more cozy leaning. It's not, but I still think it would be a good time. We then have a book that I was very excited was on the buy one get one half price table, and that is India Holton's latest book, The Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love. This is again another cozy fantasy romance, and I'm so excited. I haven't actually read the back of this. I'm just going to read a little bit of it. We have two rival ornithologists seeking one dangerous beautiful bird. Is the hunt of their lives also how they find the love of their lives? Sounds really fun and cute and wholesome, and yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that one soon. Then we have a book that I've already read, which is a book I used my £10 voucher on. That's 9 Lives by Maureen Johnson. I was really in the mood for a cozy young adult murder mystery and I didn't have any, and I had this one out on Libby. Realised I wasn't going to finish it in time before the hold needed to go back because somebody was waiting in line, so decided to go out and buy the physical copy, and I had so much fun with it. This is the 5th book in the Truly Devious series. Well, Truly Devious is kind of over 3 books, and then we've got these 2 standalones that take place after one another, so it's still part of the series. I really enjoy it. We're following Stevie, who is a young girl who's obsessed with Sherlock Holmes, wants nothing more than to become a detective, ends up going to this elite academy called Ellingham Academy and ends up solving a lot of different murder mysteries that are going on. It's a lot of fun. This one takes place in London, and they're going over to London for a school trip. It's fun, it's entertaining, I enjoyed it, and yeah, I just like this series. It's a nice fun young adult murder mystery series. And the final book I picked up for £3, which was amazing. The Queen of Poisons by Robert Thorogood. This is the 3rd book in the Marlo Club murder mystery series, and I cannot wait to read this one. I can't say much more about it. I've already spoken about the Marlo Murder Club. It's going to be following Judith and the 2 other people that Judith got involved in the 1st book. Whether we have more, I don't know. I haven't read the 2nd book. I do plan on reading it soon. And again, probably by the time this video comes out, you're going to see the vlog in which I read it very shortly after this video. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that one, and I'm very pleased I have the 3rd book and that I picked it up for £3. That was a steal. And oh my god, I have been talking for absolutely ages. Hopefully I can edit this down for you so it's a little bit more concise. What I love about this is normally when I do a book haul, I haven't actually read any of the book, unless of course I've bought them specifically because I read them on Kindle or something. So I really like the fact that a lot of these books I have actually read, and like some of the pre-orders and stuff I've already read, and some of the gifts that I got for my birthday and things that I've already read. Like, I'm really pleased with that. It's definitely something I do want to work on, because as much as I said I do love book buying and having a nice large TBR to mood read between, it's also very satisfying to actually read the books that you're buying. And thank you so much for bearing with me for this rather large book haul. Please let me know if you've read any of these, if you want to read any of these, and if there's any you think I should be prioritizing prioritizing out of these, let me know. But I am going to leave it there. So genuinely thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, for sitting here for this long and listening to me ramble about different books that I'm looking forward to reading. Yeah, genuinely, I appreciate it. I love being able to chat with you all. It just, thank you. I am going to leave it there, and we've done, well, there's book stacks around me, so we're going to keep it simple. If you've made it this far or you just don't know what you want to comment, you can leave a little book stack emoji in the comments below. And thank you once again for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please do consider giving it that thumbs up, subscribing, commenting. Those 3 things really help this channel out. My social media links and everyone I've mentioned will be linked below for you, and I will of course catch you in the very next video.